But at a time when mammals had not even begun to develop their incredible capacity for generating new species, Madagascar had separated from Africa and had remained isolated in the Indian Ocean. How then can we explain the existence there of the enigmatic pro-simians, which we now call lemurs? A broad-billed roller stands watchful guard in the Analamazatra jungle in the east of Madagascar. For the birds, it was easy to fly to the island, crossing over the Mozambique Channel, but when they arrived, they found Madagascar already had other inhabitants, and some of their descendants are those this roller is observing. Today, there are almost 85 species of snake in Madagascar. When the island formed, among the snakes that remained here, there was not a single poisonous one, and their descendants to this day remain loyal to their origins. But what worries the roller, which has just completed its nest, is not the poison. Almost all Madagascan snakes like eggs, and some have developed into skillful climbers. This Ithisiphus, which the locals call the Fandre Fiala, is one of the most agile tree-climbing snakes in the jungles of Madagascar. Despite the thorny bark that surrounds the nest of the roller, the snake climbs up, testing the air with its forked tongue. But what the Ithisiphus does not know is that the mother is watching his every move. And it is one thing to steal the eggs from a nest, quite another to challenge a broad-billed determined to defend her offspring. When Madagascar became an island, the animals in its interior adapted to the conditions of its different ecosystems in order to avoid falling prey to the enemies that shared their isolation. And one of the most effective adaptations of all was camouflage. The constant vigilance of the roller detects a small gecko. These inoffensive reptiles are one of the groups that chose camouflage. But in the jungles of Madagascar, you need to be constantly on the alert because your enemies, too, may have learned to hide. Looking just like a branch moved by the wind, this lance-nosed snake knows how to wait patiently, trusting in its extraordinary disguise. Among the dense vegetation, death slowly approaches its prey, advancing slightly, then freezing, again turning into a branch, while the roller, knowing her eggs are safe, is a silent witness to the drama unfolding below. The gecko feels safe among the leaves and without realizing stands right in the jaws of its mortal enemy. And in the isolated world of Lemuria, there are no second chances. The lance-nosed snake is not poisonous and so cannot rapidly kill its prey, and has to attempt to choke it or swallow it alive. Little by little, the hunter moves the head of its prey into a position which makes it possible to begin swallowing it. The gecko fights with the last strength of desperation because once its head is inside the snake, it'll be impossible for it to breathe and it'll die. A futile struggle. The lance-nosed snake now holds it firm and is an expert hunter. It knows time is on its side, and again it waits. Now its prey cannot breathe and realizes its strength is running out. Before it has been swallowed entirely, the little gecko will already have died. The invertebrates, reptiles and amphibians of Madagascar already lived here when the island separated from Africa 165 million years ago. The birds and bats easily flew here, crossing the 400 kilometers of the Mozambique Channel. But the great enigma of the island, to which scientists have still not found an answer, is the origin of its land mammals. This is a brown lemur, one of the 33 known species of lemur that today live in Madagascar. Just a short distance away, another lemur, in this case a black and white one, observes its small, noisy relatives. All lemurs are herbivores and insectivores, and if resources are abundant, they avoid competition, being tolerant and even playful with other species. But this black and white lemur, who just wants a bit of peace and quiet, doesn't seem to be at all amused by his neighbors. The lemurs are the most representative animals of Madagascar and the ones with the most mysterious origin. In evolutionary terms, they are closer to the ancestral primates than more modern types of simians, and their appearance and behavior has led man to consider them, since the time they were discovered, as strange beings halfway between animals and spirits, which has earned them their name, lemur, a Latin word meaning the spirit of the dead. Nonetheless, these agile pro-simians are quite simply the result of an evolutionary path different from that of the monkeys, large simians and human beings with which they share distant common ancestors. The lemurs are not the only land mammals in Madagascar. Among the half-light of the jungle floor, a group of ring-tailed mongooses approaches, sniffing in search of small prey. A family of lemurs attentively observes them. The mongooses do not pose a threat for the lemurs, but their appearance is very similar to that of the civet, the largest carnivores in Madagascar, and it's best to make absolutely sure and not let down your guard. In Madagascar, there are only 9 species of carnivores, and all of them, except the civets, which were introduced by man from Asia approximately 2,000 years ago, are endemic to the island. The crowned lemur does not take its eye off them. These ring-tailed mongooses feed on insects, eggs, and small rodents, so for the family of lemurs they are completely inoffensive. So both families ignore each other, and the mongooses and crowned lemurs go their separate ways, continuing their search for food.